Carolyn G's daughter is in
This
the,
meeting is being recorded.
got it.
Here. I can take my local device.
Marilyn Jean is at the hospital with Karen. She's in ICU right now, so she will not be joining us at all.
Oh, what's wrong with Karen?
Karen's been sick almost for the last 6 months, in and out of the hospital with different things going on with her. A lot of serious things going on. Janet, some of you know Janet, it's my cousin from Florida. She had to do, I'm getting
So Cynthia, where are you living now?
You want to go in the loft, maybe?
Hold on just a second. Yeah, Kathy, we're getting a lot of feedback. Screech.
What do we do with that? Is it because Sandy's here next to it, near me with her computer?
Yes.
Probably?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have her go
We have
to her
to
bedroom.
send her to a different room.
Right.
Yep,
Send her
yep.
down
Maybe.
to the bedroom, up to the attic.
Well, the loft would be a nice place to sit. It's got a nice electric massage chair up there.
Oh, yeah.
So Gary's talking to her about where to
Okay,
relocate.
Good.
And Teddy had a dentist appointment, Teddy Potts, and she got an iPad or had an iPad, and her grandson got Zoom on it for her. So after her appointment, she will try to get on to say
Good.
hi.
Good.
For those who don't know, she is deaf, and so we couldn't do subtitles this time for this, and she was fine with that. She said it'll be enough to get on and see all those happy faces. She said next time we'll work on getting subtitles, so that'd be good. So she will probably zip in at the end.
Right.
I don't know how this works, but I just asked Cynthia where she's living these days.
Oh, I did not hear you.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I don't know how this works.
Chris, do you have rules of the game that we should know about?
Yeah, I was just looking around here to see if I have the subtitle thing, but I don't see it. I'm sorry. I was going to research that, but
No, that's fine. She was great with it. Just to be
okay,
able to get
good.
it.
Yeah. Well, this is a
So-
small group, and so I generally don't put on. Who did we just lose? Somebody.
Sandy. She's
Okay.
working with her computer right now.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
her
So
phone or whatever it is.
yeah, a few minutes ago, I forgot who it was asking a question, but we couldn't hear anything because of the
Squawking.
squawking of the two computers in the same room.
Yep,
So
yep.
once they move the other one,
They're fixing
one way they can handle that, Kathy, is just to mute one of the two
Yeah,
computers.
she knows that from other things,
Right.
other Zoom meetings that she's in. So
Okay. And I have 11 o'clock here. So I had 2:22:22 on my phone. And so at 20 after, it's going to alert us. And then I have a little kind of ceremony thing that I like to do to kind of get into the juice of it all. So, yeah.
So tell us how you and Cathy became friends.
Well, let's save that for when we're all together.
Okay.
Yeah. Cynthia and I already exchanged a little because she was here so early. But yeah. So where are you, Judy? Where are you?
Topeka, Kansas.
Oh, you're in Kansas. Oh my gosh, Kathy, this
It
is
was 70 degrees yesterday and 14 today.
oh
wow.
it was 7. I'm in California. It was 70 yesterday, and it's a little chillier today, so it's down in the 50s. But
So we're at in California.
south of San Francisco, north of Monterey, Santa Cruz Mountains.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty close to the ocean. So wow, we're well represented. We've got Massachusetts, and where did you just say? I'm sorry, Judy. Kansas, yeah, and then California. Pretty good, Kathy.
Part of my
Yeah.
teepee.
Very nice.
Beautiful, yeah.
Chris, is there some way, Larry and I, my husband Larry and I were talking about this, that you can designate who talks so that we can have some kind of a stream that goes. I don't know how to do this because I've never done what you're doing.
Yeah, well, if we all silenced each other, then you'd have to raise your hand to talk. But in a small group, I hardly ever use a mute button. I do a lot of Zoom groups. I work with grievers mostly, and I do a lot of Zoom groups, and
Okay.
Yeah, if there's, we had one fellow that he had to be in a rehab center for a little while because he broke his hip, and we had to mute him all the time because you'd hear the bing, 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 go here, therapy needed over there. So we would mute him. And if there's something going on in your house or the garbage man's coming, you can mute yourself. Just remember to unmute yourself so we can hear you. Yeah.
So we just have to listen, and if somebody's asking questions, stop talking, let the person ask the question, and then whoever's going to answer it.
Or I mean, Kathy, it's your decision. You want me to put, everybody can go on mute. What's the Mickey Mouse?
I think I'd rather us pay attention and not
Okay.
just don't interrupt when somebody else has already asked.
Yeah.
We got to find. But if it
Mickey
gets to
Mouse
be
has
really
got her hand
bad,
up.
we can do the silencing, I suppose. There's Sandy. Sandy Beer Johnson.
So,
Where did you settle, Sandy? Are you upstairs in the loft?
Yeah, I'm in the loft.
oh, nice.
Are you okay, Sandy?
I'm just fine.
We're talking about whether we should silence the whole group and
No, I
just
think,
people raise their hands or not. And we're sort of saying people should just
yeah,
make sure they're not talking over somebody else.
that's great. So Sandy's here, and then who was it that was on, but then we lost her? Him, her.
No, that was Sandy.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Betty hasn't been on quite yet. I think Gary's helping her figure that out now.
Oh,
She
she's
didn't
there
want to
in
do
house
it
too?
last night.
I wore
So
my
she's
favorite shoes.
I think they're so cute. I
love
have a
them.
watch.
Oh,
I have a watch that has Minnie Mouse on it. Is that Minnie
Well-
Mouse or Mickey? That's Minnie. Oh, the bow, right?
These are 20, 25-year-old Sorels that I still wear them and I love them, but they flap. So I put duct tape.
Duct tape, it fixes everything.
Let's see the bottoms and how worn they are, Cynthia. Are they worn?
Oh.
Not bad.
worn.
25 years. Okay.
wow,
They flap and I trip, so I duct taped them.
very cool.
That's good.
Well, I still remember the concert you gave back in
Thank
Muskegon.
you.
That
Yeah.
is a beautiful memory.
Thank you. Thank you.
What
It
kind
was
of
fun.
Huh?
What kind of concert?
Cynthia
was it?
is quite a pianist.
Ooh.
Many kinds of music. She likes rag too, right? Is that the right term? Rag? Ragtime? Mhm. Mhm. Very good.
Sweet. Yeah. My girlfriend's 8-year-old son or grandson is learning to play the piano, and he plays ragtime. He loves it. I guess there's a course of study that makes it whatever, but it's really cute to hear him play.
Good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Right.
My kids never had to do the dishes if they would practice
Oh,
during dish time so I could hear them.
right.
That was
That's a
clever.
good rule. I'm gonna run to the restroom. I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah. And the rest of you all know where the restrooms are, right? Yeah. I've been working with hospice for many years, and then since I've branched out on my own, but I do work around grief, and often for widows and widowers, and I'll do like an 8-week course. And so it kind of breaks the ice on Zoom, of course, since COVID. So it's been 2 years, but it always kind of breaks the ice when we go through the confidentiality and all that stuff. And then I say, and you all know where your bathrooms are. Kind of breaks the
Hey,
ice a little bit. Hey,
this is Chris. Can you help us out maybe?
sure.
Okay, hi. Betty's on the phone and it's on speaker so she can hear us.
All right.
She's trying to join the meeting and she got to the point where you push the button to join the meeting, the initial point you do that. Betty, tell her what the message came out
Wait,
about the address.
is she trying to come
Oh.
on with a phone call or on Zoom on a computer or laptop or cell phone?
It's an iPad, right?
Okay.
It has the Zoom in the left-hand corner, but every time I push the launch meeting button, a big white square comes up, cannot
I can't understand anything she's saying.
Okay, I'll tell her what so tell me, Betty, and I'll tell them.
Okay. Not with the page. Went off.
Well, it said address invalid, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so she basically gets a message says the address is invalid. Now,
Okay, you
she's gonna
probably have to send her a new link. Send her a new email with the correct link on it, because sometimes they get foiled somehow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll forward the email back to her again, and we'll see
Right.
if that works.
Yeah. I
She's
have-
on an iPad, by the way, iPad that's about 7 years old.
Yeah. Oh, it
So
shouldn't make
hopefully it
any
works.
difference as long as there's a little camera in it, and yeah, it shouldn't
Yeah.
make any difference. But
Okay, I'll go in the bedroom and do that. You guys can carry on without us, I guess.
all right. So, and a good reminder is to turn off cell phones if you don't want to, disrupt the meeting.
If your cell phone is on, ring, but you're not actually using it, there still is a disconnect with the two devices, because mine's off and it's right here. It's not.
Yeah, no, it's just that we'll all hear it when it rings. Like my girlfriend wrote a series of children's books about frogs. And so we have these every Monday meetings, and you hear rivet when her phone goes off. So that's the only reason for turning cell phones off, or regular phones. I turn my regular phone off. I don't turn it off. Anyway, and sometimes I forget to put it back on. So I'll go a whole day with no phone calls.
That's lovely.
It is.
You won't know when your car warranty expires.
Darn, I'll have to those have eased up now. For a while there, I was getting at 5 o'clock in the morning. I got one of those calls, and it just makes me crazy. Especially if I'm back there and I'm crafting and my hands are full of glue and the phone rings, and yeah, it makes it really hard. So we're getting.
Have you ever had grandma calls?
No.
Well, my grandma that I was in an accident and I need the money. Well, I get those a lot.
Do you?
And then one time my real grandson called
Oh.
and I thought it was a grandma call.
Oh, no. Yeah. I use the grandma card though, when I'm having trouble with things. And what was it this week? I forgot what it was, but I had the person to help me with it. And I finally said, I'm a grandma, help me understand this. Another time we were looking at a car, and we started by looking on Zoom, not on Zoom, on the computer. And the kid was so nice. I said, well, would you sell your grandma this car? And anyway, it's kind of I don't mind using it. I'm 75. I don't mind, it's like great to be this age.
Yeah, some people don't have that privilege.
Yeah, I know. I'm the oldest one in my family. My mom was only 63 when she passed. My sister is only 58. Yeah. So my cousin Jan and Jan is 82, but the two of us are the old ones in our family from my grandmother down. So yeah, we feel lucky to be here. I wonder if Cathy's coming back. Hey, birthday girl. We're coming up on her 2:22 time. 1 minute here.
There she is. Oh, what's this?
Sandy, Gary said when he's done with Betty, you can use his computer and then you'll be able to get everybody on the screen. Meanwhile, you could come down here and sit with me or somebody else and have two people in the square for a few minutes.
Yeah, because we're coming up on 2:22.
Okay.
What does your t-shirt say?
I'll let you read it. Just a second. Let me get my computer. Wait, I guess that's not going to work. Okay. Oh. Through the bumps. You can read it. Okay. So now can you see it?
Yeah. Say something, Cathy.
It's my birthday. What? It's my birthday. Tuesday with a TWO. Then a regular Tuesday. And then 2/22.
2/22.
That's me. Oh. Thank you all for being here, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's great. It's so funny though.
Introduce Sandy to us.
I came walking into the living room and looked to see where you were at our big table. And you weren't there. You were in here. Anyway, won't happen again.
Introduce
There she
Sandy
is.
to us.
Oh, she's
Come on,
gonna sit
Sandy.
next to you then. Okay.
I'll
Yeah,
turn
she
mine
was
on.
fine on her own screen.
She what?
She was fine on her own screen, but.
Well, she can't see
No,
though.
she's
got
got it on her phone.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, this is fine. There
And
she
then
is.
Gary will have his computer set up for
Can
her
I
in
be
a
by
few
you
minutes.
without a mask or will that
No,
be-
where's my mask?
Well, you don't want to mask yourself. Stay on there and I'll stand back here.
Sandy. I don't know where my mask is and I'm
Stay
supposed to
there.
have it handy. That's
Kathy
what I'm
Newman,
supposed to have.
stay there. It's 2:22.
Okay. Okay, I think it's time for you, Chris, 222.
Okay, so I'm going to start and the doors are open. Anybody else comes in, they'll just have to be quiet until we're done. So I'm going to start by lighting a candle.
Woo.
And I'm sorry, I wasn't going to do 75 candles.
That's good.
So I'm going to hold this up in front of the camera and invite you just to take a couple of deep cleansing breaths right into your heart. And picture Cathy, your love, your friendship, your relationship with her right in your heart as we illuminate her birthday celebration. So, and now I have a San Francisco cable car bell. I was going to ring it 22 times. So here we go. 10, 11. 20, 21, 22.
Now to 75.
I was going to bang it 75 times. No more than I'm going to light 75 candles. Kathy's a good friend, but that goes too far.
I'm glad you're not doing it 75 times, Chris.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of like picture me over on the side, just welcoming everybody here. We are recording it. I'm pretty sure we're still recording. And yeah, so it's open to everybody. And I thought it'd be fun to kind of talk about how we met Cathy, funny stories, something you think she wouldn't want all of us to know about, well, within, remember you want to keep her friendship going, right? So, yeah, Cynthia, why don't you go ahead and start and just tell us about how you know Cathy, where do you live, anything and everything you want to tell us.
Me first?
Yeah, I kind of go by who signed up, who came on the screen first. So
Okay.
unless somebody else wants to go first.
No, I don't, it's okay, it's fine.
Okay.
This is weird though, because you have to make the same expressions, Chris, because I can only see you.
Mm.
So you're gonna be making expressions for everyone. I don't see everybody.
Gary,
Oh, now I see Sandy.
Okay, but let me, what do you
you know
want?
that she can just do it this
Computer
way.
or
She doesn't
laptop
have
or
to have the link.
I'm sorry.
Say it
say that
again.
again.
You know that she was
So,
just hit
what are
Zoom
you
and
watching
just
from?
Join a meeting and just put those numbers in and the password.
You
She
mean
doesn't-
Betty?
Yeah.
We
She
can
doesn't
hear
have to
you
have
through
a-
the computer here,
Put all
Gary.
those numbers in.
If she has a Zoom icon on her iPad,
Yeah.
she can just iPhone, yeah, okay, you can put in, I'm giving Gary some numbers.
is going on the computer here.
Everybody can talk at the same time. What do they want?
You two, your voices.
Oh, okay.
So, sorry. Okay,
I had to kick
We'll have a.
Just
Gary
Sure.
Sandy out of the kitchen.
okay, that's great. And if Sasha, is that her name? It wants to be heard, she can yell, we can hear. Oh, where are they going now? Okay, Cynthia, what are you working on? A laptop or an iPad or what?
I'm working on an iPad, but it's fine.
Okay, because if you go up to the upper, move your finger up to the upper right-hand corner, there's a little box that says view.
hang on, hang on a second. Stop video, share content, participants, more. Is that what I should press?
Okay, no,
More?
way over on the upper right-hand side.
That just has a camera and 96%, juice. Doesn't
Oh,
have anything else.
oh,
It's
there's,
okay.
okay. Because there is a way, I'm just not familiar with using iPads. There is a box somewhere you can click. It's usually a box that has like 9 little squares next to it.
Switch to galley view. I just did it. Thank you.
There, all right. Yeah, I'm not sure where it is on an iPad, and I know it does not work on an iPhone. So
Yes,
there, but now you
I got 5 people, including myself.
all
unfortunately.
right, good.
Is that it? Do I have everybody?
I
For
think
now,
yeah,
until
there's
Betty
5 of
does
us.
her thing or Teddy does her thing.
Okay, all right. So this is a rerun, Cathy Ellen.
Good.
My family moved from East Gary, Indiana up to Muskegon, Michigan, middle of a blizzard with snowdrifts up to the telephone poles. No, I'm not exaggerating. And my mother had packed all of her china in a barrel, a beautiful big barrel, which I wish I still had. And they dropped it on the way up to the door of the Glenside Gardens, Cathy.
Oh,
They dropped it, and my mother was packing fanatic, and nothing was broken. Okay, so that's the setting of how we got there. And then, of course, my parents being Baptist church people, they found out about Calvary Baptist, so we started going to Calvary Baptist. I don't know why they chose that one instead of some other one, but they did. And so I was a new kid, and I was 7, and I was, believe it or not, shy and withdrawn. Very sweet. And you're laughing. And I met these 2 other people, Norma Jean and Cathy Ellen.
wow.
Then the really, really great thing is that the 3 of us named our clique, and we called ourselves the 3 Threes.
Oh,
And then we hung together, and then we got joined by other people. We got joined by Marilyn, and we got joined by Betty and Judy, and I don't even remember everybody else who joined us, but that's, and we actually ran the youth department of our age because we were a strong bunch of kids, and it's sort of where we all lived for years.
Yeah, we
The
did.
great, pardon?
We did.
We did. And the great thing about this story is that with Norma Jean and with Cathy, we've stayed connected. It hasn't been constant. There were years when I didn't contact either one of you guys. We weren't in touch. But then I started coming to Muskegon more because I was old enough to realize I still loved it, even though there were hang-ups there. Not you. And so I started coming more, and it was wonderful. And then we reconnected, both of Cathy Ellen and Norma Jean and I. So that's that story. I'm a professional musician. I'm a pianist. I teach and I perform, and yes, I play ragtime, and but I also play what I call the wonderful, and I mean wonderful, dead white Western males. They're great. I'm not going to not do them. They're great, but that's what I do. And I'm a classically trained ragtime pianist also. Hi, Gary. I can see you now.
He's on mute with Sandy.
Oh, okay.
okay, that's fine.
Anyway, do I have to say hi? Do I have to say anything more? Is that enough, Chris?
No, it's I'm not the boss here. Cathy is. Cathy, does she need to say more?
I think you should talk about our 9th grade when we were actually at the same school, Steele
my
Junior High
God.
School.
Deal. You're gonna have to help me. We
were in home ec together.
That I remember. She hated me.
Oh, you're talking about Mrs. Funk.
Miss Funk. I won't make a comment about that. She did not like me. Did she like you?
Oh, the teacher didn't like you.
Yeah.
I didn't notice if she didn't like me.
Well, she didn't like me because she had Rebecca. I don't know how. She must have taught a bunker or something. This is all Muskegon talk. Sorry, you guys. But she didn't like me because I already knew how to sew.
And what did we sew together? We each made ourselves long coats, long red coats.
Wow.
my
with
God. You remember-
buttons and buttonholes that we figured out how to do. I think my mother helped us do that.
Do you still
And
have
we
yours?
we wore them once in a while. I don't have mine anymore. I have no idea where it is.
That was a weird class. Not you, not me, but she was a weird lady, wasn't she?
The class was weird, yes.
Yeah, home ec. Did she teach us cooking too?
I think so. Somebody did.
Yeah,
Maybe her.
yeah. How much did your mom sew?
Quite a bit. Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, mine too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a lost with the machine.
Yeah. Right.
But I ran with the in the music department. It was the first time I'd ever been closer than 6 feet to, not kidding, a person of color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And this totally wonderful young woman, oh, her name just flew out of my head, was a pianist, and she welcomed me. I mean, she was sort of running the joint, and she welcomed me, and then we played duets and stuff for the talent show.
Yes.
Yeah, so I remember I also remember did you have Mrs. Fortney for civics?
Fortney? That name
Mhm.
sounds familiar. Probably.
She had green hair one week and blue hair the next. And she was not very bright. And I stole a packet of passes. And the reason why I knew she wasn't very bright was because she signed them all and left them on her desk so she didn't have to sign them each time. So I took one, the whole pack. This is not about you, it's about me. This is true.
Yes, it is about you.
And then I went to the music room and did what I wanted to do.
Well,
She
I can
almost-
see why you and Cathy are friends.
The gym teacher, were we in the same swimming class?
I don't recall.
Yeah,
May have been.
she was scary. Yeah. Anyway, you got any other? You got any
Names
other skill?
Her name started with an S, I think.
I
An
think
S?
so too. Yeah.
Shively. Shively, I think.
Yes. Wow, Shively. That's right. Yeah,
I
she
haven't
didn't
thought that name for a long
Did
time.
you swim in 9th grade? Could you swim?
I swam some.
Yeah.
They asked me to come to one of the, I guess it was a contest, a swimming contest with all the different schools or whatever. And they said, we need somebody to do the breaststroke. And we want you to do it. And it's like,
What?
me? You want me to participate in this thing? And the worst part of it was I was supposed to dive off the edge of the pool to get in to go in the race. I never dove off the end of the pool area. I think I landed in this big belly flop, and I did swim. I didn't win. Yeah, that was my pool experience.
She shoved me in because she was mad at me because I was scared.
Oh,
She did. She
Always
shoved me in the deep end. Then I was really scared.
Teaching tool there, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
No, we were always at the lake when I was a kid, so I knew how to swim
Yeah.
at a very young age, yeah.
Yeah.
And my dad swam all the time too, so anyway.
The
Does the lake
breaststroke.
warm up right there, Cathy, by your parents' house?
Excuse me?
Does the lake ever warm up much for swimming?
It can be in the mid 60s on a number of occasions in the summer, and sometimes I don't think anything above a 75 usually in that big lake. So,
Wow.
but I didn't mind it when I was a kid. Hi, Sandy again.
Hey, this is Sandy here. Am I looking pretty today?
You're looking weird, Sandy.
I have one other thought, and I didn't find this, but I'm going to find this and send it to you, and you're really
Yeah, I guess.
We used to have come as you are parties,
And then,
and we would do you remember these? We would wake up, and the mothers knew what we were doing, and they would drive the person around.
okay, enjoy yourself.
Thank you.
And we would go to, and all the other parents, well, the mothers knew, and then we would go to all these people's houses. We lived in
Let's
areas,
see how the battery's doing.
and we would wake the person up
Yep. You
and
just,
drag
this
them
was-
over to our house. Do you remember this?
Oh, how
you
fun.
gotta
I can't hear you because I'm hearing Gary talk.
Okay, I'll stop.
Well, if you're gonna talk to her, whisper to her or something.
Come as you are parties. Do you remember come as you are parties?
I can remember one where we dressed up like beatniks and we wore black pants and our father's white shirts out of the closet.
No, this is when we woke people, it was you and me and Norma Jean and probably Betty, I don't know, Marilyn, and we woke each other up in the morning and the mothers knew about it and they drove us around and we woke everybody up and dragged them over to our house. And then we had breakfast and laughed at each other because we all had rollers in. I have pictures of you in rollers in. I'm going to find it.
Yeah, good. That'd be great. That'd be good.
You're so polite.
Now we see somebody really good. Perfect. Yeah. So how about you, Judy? What do you have to share about Cathy?
Well, I don't remember if we met through Calvary Baptist or through high school.
Did you come to Calvary Baptist besides with Jim?
No.
I knew you before you met Jim. So
Okay.
we knew each other in school, in high school.
And do you remember the toboggan run we went to?
I remember the one down at Beechwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a beautiful one to go to. Yeah, we did that a
Right.
lot.
Jim didn't have a date, and so they set me up as a blind date. And
I think did Norma Jean have something to do with that? She claims she did.
she did.
Okay.
And 6 or 7 years later, I married him.
Yep. Yep.
Soon to be 54 years ago.
Wow.
And I remember being woke up in my flannel nightgown. I don't remember the circumstances, but you stayed at my house for a while.
Yeah, I
think
did.
Your mom
Yep.
and you had a riff.
Yeah, a big one. She said, "Get out." I stayed at Marilyn Jean's house for a while. It was her parents were very nice to allow that too. And then you checked with your mom to see if it was all right if I could come stay there for a little bit. And so I did. I learned how fastidious she is about cleaning.
Oh yeah.
Part of my job to be there was to dust things, and I was tall, so she expected me to dust the top of the door frames. And she'd come along and go like this, and she'd say, "You didn't get to this one, did you?" I learned quickly that I needed to do those.
Well,
But
we
it was
were
all
over
right.
there one time after we were married, and Jim said, "Oh, I can find dust." And she said, "No, you can't." But she went above the door frame. Or
Yeah, but she was
did.
short. She was short. That's amazing. She probably brought a ladder in to do it. Yeah, she was great though. I remember fighting with your brother over dishes.
Uh-oh. Well, that could be.
He would wash and I was to rinse and dry. And whenever there was a little bit of something on the dish, I was delighted to shove it back at him and say, you missed the spot. And then all of a sudden he started saying, "Mom!" I don't know how much older he was than us, and then she basically said, "Those little things you can get when you dry the plate."
Yes.
So I said, "Well, I see,
My boy, so
I
he
see
tried to join.
who's Lord and Master at that house." Yeah, I could just remember that staying there. So I probably wasn't polite enough when I was staying there, but I did appreciate it, and I liked your room a lot. Was it your room or your sister's room that had all those dolls up on a shelf all the way
That was
around
my
the room?
sister's room.
Yeah, beautiful. It was nice.
But we had a lot of good times together.
Yeah, we
Gathered
did.
a lot at Norma's house.
Mhm. I remember talking to you a lot in the big cafeteria at the high school. Either it was lunch break or maybe a study hall when we weren't supposed to be talking, but we did anyway. Yeah.
Well, at that time too, I thought I was going to get married after high school.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
said, "No, women have to have an education." No, they don't. Yes, they do.
Well, so then you waited for a little bit, We went to nursing school, and
Yeah,
I got married 3 months after high school.
I know.
Don't listen to me.
But,
And we're not going to go into all that.
okay.
Okay.
Well, I know
Unless, if you have a
My
story to
last-
tell, you can. But
my
pardon?
last year of nursing school, Jim was out in California. And he wanted me to quit and come out there and get married. No way. Not after I had been through all of that. And it turned out it was a good wait.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it-
that's good.
And, I remember your mom and dad and your brother and Judy, and there was another one though, wasn't there?
Well, there's my younger brother, Dan, and my older brother, Mike. He was 2 years ahead of us in school.
Okay. Must have been Dan.
Yeah. He was 2 years younger than us.
Hmm.
I don't remember
Did-
seeing Dan when we were seniors. And he was must have been a freshman.
Did Judy ever remarry?
Oh, no, I don't think that's in the books. Nope. She's very, very busy and taking good care of herself as much as she can. A lot of ailments coming her way, but she's dealing with all of them. And Neil's been gone for 3 years. And so she certainly has her times when she's a bit lonely for him.
Sure.
So,
Oh, I bet. You never get over that.
no. So
And
she's
she
doing
was
pretty
so
good.
pr-
Again?
She was so pretty and so nice. I just wondered if she did.
Yep. She doesn't sit still long enough for anybody to come along and meet her.
So I'm just wondering, Sandy, can you push your unmute button and let's see if do you know where that is? Should be on the lower.
Gary
Left.
told her. She's looking very puzzled, Gary.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Beautiful.
Good.
So what do you want
Gary's-
to share about
Yeah.
Cathy?
Oh. She already told me 2 stories I can't tell. So
Oh, well, number one would be.
anyway, Cathy and I met at work we worked together and I was her supervisor. And I'll tell you, we didn't do so well when we first met. She came to my office to let me know she didn't trust me. And I told her I didn't trust her, and then we decided we didn't like each other.
Wow.
And then we decided, because we were so honest with each other, we did like each other. So we started hanging out together. And I really enjoyed working with her and being with her. I was a little afraid of her mother, Stella, because Stella worked with us. Stella scared the oomph out of me. But Cathy and I just started hanging out, and her house was close to where we worked. So I'd drop in after work every day and give her all my wisdom. And then I'd head home. But the story I am allowed to tell you about Cathy is that we went to Ann Arbor together. And we were out shopping or something, and it started to pour. And I was wearing a brand new suede jacket with a hood. I mean, I had really splurged and bought this beautiful suede jacket. So we jumped inside a doorway of a store, and I said, I can't walk out here in the rain with this jacket. So we go in the store, and we ask if they have a box. They had this great big huge box. So we decided I would walk inside the box. So I've got this huge box over me, and we're walking down the sidewalk in Ann Arbor, and Cathy starts laughing. And I said, "What's so funny?" And she says, "Do you know how stupid you look? You look really stupid." And I said, "Cathy, nobody can see me. You're the one who looks stupid."
Yeah, we laughed a long time about that.
Yes, and she actually found a card showing a woman walking in a big cardboard box. And I have that in my collection, but that was probably one of the funniest times we had. We've had lots of other good times, but that was the silliest. We also go thrift shopping a lot, and it's all Cathy's fault that I end up with these great big huge windows. Huge, like 5 foot by 5 foot or 6 foot by 6 foot. And then did Gary come help us? Did we rope him into helping us load that?
I think he did.
I think we did, but you'll be happy to know it is installed in the end of my gardening shed, and it's beautiful. So,
There's Cathy.
Yay.
oh, she made it.
Hey,
Well, I'll pass with that. It's good talking
Wow.
about. I love your stories.
Happy birthday to you, Kathy. I don't see you, but happy birthday.
Thank you, Daddy.
How you doing?
Doing okay.
Good, good.
I don't know what to tell her.
Oh, hey, this is Gary, and Chris could tell you this too, but on your Zoom screen, in the upper left corner, upper right corner is a view button.
Okay, I've
You
got
see the-
trifocals here. I'm trying to line up.
Oh, upper right
Okay,
corner, you
it says
see where it
record.
says
Oh, on the
view?
right side. Okay, there's a green button.
there should
Oh,
be a
it's
button
blue.
with 9 little squares on it.
Oh,
What do we do
boy.
with it?
And if you
I'm
click
not
on
seeing
it,
that.
okay,
No.
you can see everybody at once. Or the person who's talking. You're on an iPad, right?
Right.
Isn't that on the
But
left
I'm not-
side
all I
of the
see is the-
screen?
Yeah, Cynthia, where did you find the button on yours?
All I see is the green
I
button.
think it's on the, I think it was on the left side.
Yeah, my iPad, it's on the left side,
On the left
yeah,
side, upper or lower?
It was
upper.
on the
Do you,
upper
do
left
you
side.
see
but
the dots in a square?
yeah, it's got a little button. You said, Chris, that's what was helpful. It's got a whole bunch of little dots.
Yeah.
It's like got 9 dots, and that's how I found it. It doesn't seem to be there anymore because I used it.
Right. Use
Betty,
that one
can
up.
you see that on your screen?
I'll be right back.
All right, we're just kind of readjusting. Quick bathroom break if anybody needs to refill their coffee or whatever.
And remember, we know where they are.
That's right. So Betty, what are you seeing now?
Okay. Now something, okay, now something came up, but I just lost it again. It just went off. This is
Okay,
weird.
so what do you see on your screen?
Now, all I see is you.
Oh, you see me,
And then up in the other corner, it says recording with a little red dot. And then
right?
on
Yeah.
the right side is a green dot.
So Cynthia, talk for a couple
But
seconds.
a whole bunch of stuff just came up and now I lost it. So I don't know.
Okay,
Do
Betty,
you,
I think also, Chris, that I said more and you said yes. I saw a little thing up there with more dot, dot, dot. On the right-hand screen, it says, mute, stop video, share content, blah, blah, blah. And then it said more.
Yeah, I
and
think that's all the stuff that just came up and then it went away.
So you didn't ever get that little thing
touch
with
your
the little
screen?
9 dots.
Oh, this is crazy. Well, anyway, it's nice to see all of you.
Yeah, well, it's good to see you too. And you can hear us pretty well, right?
I'm doing okay. I read lips, so this is
Oh, so
know,
we
this
should-
is different.
you can speak clearly. Gotcha. Well, we lost our birthday girl.
just speak normal and you'll be fine.
Thank you. We lost our
But
birthday
anyway,
girl.
I'm going to check out because did Betty Ann or Marilyn or Norma, did any of them, are they with you?
Marilyn's with her daughter in the hospital in ICU. And Norma's having a problem with her blood sugar.
Uh-oh.
And Betty, they're trying to get her on.
Oh, okay.
So you just get me.
So Judy, is that you?
Yes, it is.
Oh my goodness. I miss you. Well, how nice.
And I love to see you posted some pictures with your grandsons and
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
tell
was
you, we
really
had a beautiful
nice.
time in Key West. It was just wonderful.
Oh,
And they grow up too fast, don't they?
They do.
Cynthia, do you
And
have
you age
grandchildren?
well. You don't look much different than high school.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay. Well, okay,
Does
ladies,
Cathy
I'm
now
gonna
have
check out
gallery?
here. Hi, Kathy.
Can you see everybody, Teddy? I had to
No,
leave.
no,
for a
it's just one at a time. I'm not getting a split screen, just one at a
Oh,
time.
okay. Okay. That's too
But
bad.
that's
We'll have
okay,
to
that's
figure
okay.
it
At least we know we can do this, and I will tell my grandson what's going on, and maybe he can help me figure it out another time. But
Sounds good.
happy birthday.
Thank you, sweetie.
All right,
Appreciate
I'm
it.
gonna check out now then. If
All
I can figure out how to check out. All right, you take care now.
Good to see
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, there she goes.
I had told her that she could just drop in just to
Oh,
say hi. She
Yeah,
had
it was
an
nice to
appointment.
see her.
It was good to see her.
Oh,
again.
leave.
And
Okay, now everything's coming up. Participants, I lost it again.
Oh.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, we have Chris, we have Kathy, Cynthia, Jim, and Sandy. Is that correct?
That's right, except Jim is actually,
Well, Jim and Judy.
yeah,
Wow.
and now she froze.
So that's how everything came up. Now, what's in that corner that I should see in the right-hand corner?
Well,
It was supposed to give you the gallery.
yeah,
I
that's
see
the
everybody
gallery
at
on the
once.
left side, actually, but on the right side, it said more, and I think I pressed more, or I'm gonna press more, maybe I'll get more people. Oh, no, that wasn't it at all. Disconnect audio, no, I don't want that. It was on the left side of the screen, and it was a little box, and it had 9 little dots on it, and Chris said, maybe you have something with little dots in it, and I said, I do, and I pressed it, and everybody appeared.
Okay, all I see in the left-hand corner now is leave. I think it's trying to tell me something. Okay, ladies, I will take off for now, and hopefully we can do this again.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
So thank you for inviting me, and happy birthday, Kathy.
Thanks,
All right,
Teddy.
bye-bye now.
Great.
care.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Teddy.
Bye-bye.
Trying to push that leave button. There she goes. All right. So I can make her leave from my point of view, but I've never done that. I did it once a year ago, but I don't like doing that. It's so severe. Anyway, so I know you're all wondering, I met Cathy in the early 80s. My husband at the time was going to Michigan State University, and we were, we had already broken up. And I moved back to Michigan so my kids could be near their dad, who was going to Michigan State University. And I met Cathy at PWP, Parents Without Partners. Were you all friends with her during that phase of her life?
No, just Sandy
Oh,
and Janet. Only
okay.
she's not here today.
So anyway, one of my happy memories, and I think it's pretty funny, is one of her first dates with Gary was, I think he was taking her to a dance, and or they were going to meet up at the dance, but we were all the girls were in a motel room dressing Cathy. I'll never forget. It was so much fun. We wanted her to be sexier, a little lower cut and all of that. She wouldn't have anything up. Yeah. She said, I am who I am. This is the way I am. So that's always tickled me that I had that early memory of when they both first met each other, and then introducing the kids and all of that. So
How did they meet?
pardon me?
How did they meet?
How did you meet, Cathy? Was it at PWP?
At
No, but I
PWP
meant how did Gary and Cathy meet?
Right.
in Muskegon. I was vice president of PWP, of family activities. And Gary strolled in one of the Thanksgiving dinners, I think, that we had, and strolled in with his long-legged self and his 2 little blondie girls. And so we met. That's when we first met. And then we saw each other at the campouts and all that kind of stuff. I really got struck by Gary as a man of interest when I was in charge of a camp out at White River campground up near Whitehall or whatever. And so everybody in our group was in kind of a circle or whatever. And I went around and just met everybody when they first got there. And when I first met Gary, I walked around the corner of a big a big trailer that he had with a lot of the stuff that they camp with. And he's sitting there with his two little girls, and they had oatmeal in front of him. And he said, "You must eat your oatmeal before you can get up from this table." And I said, "Oh, wow, that is something." He made the oatmeal, and then he's making sure the kids are eating it. It was just amazing. And so we just got started with meeting each other then, and knowing each other as friends for a while. And later that changed.
Okay. Do you remember Michelinda?
Oh, sure. Yeah. That was all through high school. I think we had a big banquet thing there every year.
Yeah. Well, 3 years ago, Jim's mom, his family, or their family all have a big reunion,
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling me about that.
and the Austin branch hosted, and we had it at Michelinda,
Wow.
and 254 people came.
Wow. 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 It was a nice place, that's for sure.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was.
It's pretty big now, too. Much more modernized, I think. They had a big
But
fire
you
there.
still can't get down to the beach.
Yeah.
Really?
You can't, they did a whole bunch of stuff with saving the shoreline, because it was like right there. It got close to the water, got closer and closer down below, and then, so it all falls off. And they destroyed that building, didn't they? Is that what you said, Judy? That
Yep.
No, there
one
was a
building burned
fire.
down, the big
They had a
one.
fire, yeah. And then
Yeah.
they
The one
rebuilt
that
it.
we had our banquets in. Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was a
Yeah.
beautiful place.
Yeah.
I always wanted my mom to marry Ray Johansson after my dad died, and his wonderful, but
He was a
but
good
that didn't
guy.
happen. Wouldn't that have been funny?
Yeah. Interesting.
I think he had the hots for her.
Your mother was a very good looking lady.
Yeah, but she was like my grandma. My grandfather died in his late 50s, I think. And so pretty soon we wanted, I'm sorry, you guys, we wanted my grandmother to marry Dr. Lanting.
Oh.
Dr. Lanting, Chris, was a minister, but he had many years in vaudeville.
Oh, fun.
So, yeah, I don't know if you know his name, but he had years in vaudeville. Yeah, and he was so cute. He was adorable. And so we said to Grandma once, "Grandma, you should maybe you should hook up with Dr. Lanting." And she said, "Huh, I did that once. I'm not doing that again."
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah. So I guess my mother was the same. There's Gary.
Well,
Gary.
Oh, I was
you
gonna take,
see him?
yeah, take a picture too.
He's taking a picture of us talking on Zoom. And all of you are in there. Right? See that thing?
You can see me if I was on the screen. Look back this like that.
So and you all can video, we're gonna, this is being recorded. So after I download it, upload it, whatever I need to do, I'll send the link to Cathy and you all can watch it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that'd be good.
I have to add something to Sandy's story about us. She made it sound like all our interactions was in her office where we worked, and it wasn't. It was at a small bar on Apple Avenue called the Maple Tavern, and it wasn't a very pristine tavern at all. And we would go there because we work second shift, and we'd go there after work and sit and listen to all the country music probably, and look over the guys when they were coming in and stuff, and eventually left to go home.
So this was Michigan State University that you met her.
No, this was in Muskegon at the Muskegon Retardation Center. I was working there, and she came on board as a social worker. Was that your title, Sandy, social work?
Nah,
Whatever,
I was
something like that.
I was a program director.
She was an uppity up one, and I was a person on a unit and worked on the units, and she'd be this skinny little thing that would come into our offices and try and tell us what to do when she hadn't even met any of the residents yet.
Not that she held a grudge or
It was
anything.
part of the distrust that we sued. Eventually, we wore that down and became very good friends.
So when did the bar stuff happen? And is that place still a bar?
Oh, that was after work, we'd go to the Maple and Sam was the bartender. It was kind of like Cheers. All the people who, you know, worked together, we all hung out around the bar, sat around the bar and just gabbed and talked. And it wasn't country or I wouldn't have been there. It was rock and roll, Kathy, for God's sake.
Maybe I couldn't tell the difference. I don't know.
But it was fun. It was like a family centered group because it was all the employees who worked on the units and
a few others.
And a few
That
others.
That one Hatsa man.
That
What was his
Hatsa
name?
man.
Peter? Was that Peter?
That was
He
Peter.
was a
But
Hatsa
don't
man.
start talking about my Hatsa man or I'll talk about yours.
Listen, he was never your Hatsa man. What are you talking about? Oh dear. Anyway.
Yeah. So we would go to the Maple and we would go to parties together and that's what she told me I couldn't talk about. So I just tried to make it look like we were just respectful young ladies.
Nicey, respectable professionals.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're not going to go down the trail about the parties, right? Okay.
I told you I wouldn't, but I could make one up.
Oh, that'd be worse.
Maybe.
Now, when Teddy was here, I met Teddy in kindergarten. We were in the same kindergarten class. Betty was in that same kindergarten class. David Carlson, Norma's husband, was in that kindergarten class. And I'm trying to think anybody else that you guys would have connections to. And so that's when we go way back to 5 years old. I knew Betty since we were 4. We lived on the same block. So we saw each other for whatever while we were on that same block. And Norma Jean was probably about 1st or 2nd grade at the church, met her at the Calvary Baptist Church and being in a class with her. And then later on, Cynthia was around for that. And Marilyn eventually through the church. I think I met her first. And then when we were in because they were all in a different junior high school. That's why I was so grateful that 1 year at least Cynthia was at the same middle school, junior high school as I was.
I wanted to go to Muskegon High School and I couldn't go. I wanted to go to Muskegon High School.
And it was the first year that Norton Shores had a class. And so they took them all there for the 10th grade. So we didn't have that close connection like that. And then in high school, well, then Cynthia was the one main person that was not at the high school because I think all the rest of us, Judy was at the high school and in the band with Norma and stuff. And Betty, of course, was. I walked to school with Betty every single morning to high school. We were about maybe a mile and a half away. We'd walk through the Hackley Gardens a little bit on our way there. And then we'd meet up and walk back home after that too. But in the wintertime, her mother, who worked at the Mercy Hospital Doctor's Library, Mercy Hospital was right next to Muskegon High School. She would drive us and drop us off in the front of the school so we didn't have to walk quite so much because it could be cold and we were still all wearing skirts until we left high school. I don't think they allowed jeans for sure or even dress pants at all. So we missed out on that. And I can remember our legs being just red if we walked there from home, getting in there and trying to get the chill off or whatever. So who else was at the high school that we all kind of hung out with? It was sort of like there was a core of people from Calvary Baptist Church that hung out in high school. And then there were some other people that were at other high schools, like Shirley was at Orchard View High School.
Yeah.
Who was the one at North Muskegon? I can't remember the name. Oh, I'm not seeing
Was
Betty.
it a Mooney?
Moonies were there, yep. They, of course, went to North Muskegon High School.
Who's Dan? Was there a guy named Dan, a kid named Dan? He had white hair, Dan Weidman? I don't know if that's the right word or not.
That I think I know what you meant.
Yeah,
He was just really blonde, right?
Really blonde, yeah.
Yeah.
Sue Wright.
Sue Wright was at Norton Shores. So she was with Cynthia over there. And I'm thinking of the woman, Dot Barnhart.
Oh, Doc.
So,
Barnes, yeah.
also, she was North Muskegon, but we did do some hanging out with them. I'm
Mhm.
trying to also think of the different people that would be at those crazy slumber parties we ended up having at different times. Because that's when we sort of came together, even if we were at different high schools, I think.
And
Are
the
you
Come As
thinking
You Are
of-
parties.
What's that?
And the Come As You Are parties.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about that, Cynthia. You have any pictures?
I do, but they're little whatchamacallit things. They're little slides, and I have them. But
Oh, good.
a couple days ago, I can't possibly get out these little. You can make these slides on. I can put them on the computer, and you can have them big.
Yeah. Then
We're all
I'll probably remember.
They're ridiculous. Everybody's got rollers and pajamas, and we all look like crap.
Yeah.
We had good food, and we talk, and we laugh, and then you go home before lunch.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yep.
It was just crazy.
But fun.
Oh yeah. It was a good group. Yeah, Jack Barner, I forgot her, and Bill Herman. Yeah, Bill Herman.
Herman? I remember Bill.
Yeah.
He was a couple years older than us.
And
Yeah,
Jim,
Dave was our age, I
or
think.
Dave Herman, yeah.
Dave Herman was
Dave.
our age. Bill
Yeah.
Herman was his brother.
Back
And
age,
Dan
yeah.
Herman was their other brother. That was even
Oh,
old,
yeah.
like Judy's age.
Yeah.
And they had a daughter too, who was a missionary, but I can't remember her name. She was the oldest one in the family.
Oh. I remember.
And they only lived a block away from where we lived on Laketon Avenue because they were just down Terrace Street and lived right there. So interesting.
Your bedroom, wasn't it like an attic bedroom? That's what I
Yeah.
remember. You look down on Laketon.
Laketon Avenue, and the train track was right across the street from
Yeah, I
that
have
big window.
a flashbulb memory in my head of that bedroom and climbing up those stairs and going up there.
Yep. We'd
We
have
had
to
fun.
climb up the stairs, which was by the kitchen, go all the way across this barren attic to a finished bedroom that Judy and I shared before she went to college. And it was all mine after she went to college.
Yeah.
And so we had a lot of slumber parties there. My mother allowed it all the time. It was amazing. We had to stuff pillows down the register that went directly down to her and Dad's bedroom in order for her not to yell up there too much to us. But right. And then the windows in that bedroom would open up. And there were many times when 2 or 3 of us went out the window and sat on the rooftop of the office that was right underneath there and watched all the cars go by and all that stuff, and also feel and watch the big train, huge steam engine train that went by there. And so, that was quite interesting. Betty could tell you many, many stories, especially about
I bet she could.
all that stuff, because she lived a block away. And unfortunately, she had a father who was a weekend alcoholic, if you can call it that or whatever. He was fine during the week when he worked all the time, but then it was hard for her to be at home. And so her mother was really grateful for Betty to be able to kind of hike over to our house and become another kid at our house for the weekend and stuff. So Betty and I did a lot together and are like sisters because we spent so much time together. So it was good. It was good. She appreciated it too. So.
Did you know that June Smalley died?
Oh, I did not. Is that recent, Judy?
I think about a year ago.
Okay.
I think she had cancer, and then her husband died about 3 months later. I just found this out myself. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's too bad. I remember June. She was at Steel School too, I believe.
And Jane Kitchen.
Yeah, I remember Jane. Yeah, I actually have a yearbook from Steel School that last year, the 9th grade there. It'll be interesting to pull it out next time Cynthia's back. So because she was a part of that too. Yeah.
Yeah. What grade school did you go to?
I went to Moon School.
Okay.
And that's where Betty and Dave and Tom Tyndall, Betty's husband, went there, and he was also in our kindergarten class. So it's kind of neat to see people. Although we just heard that John Zervis passed away. Betty just found that out. He just had a stroke. He had a heart condition maybe a couple years ago or whatever, and then we just found out that he died with the stroke.
Oh, that's too bad.
So yeah, really. And he was in that neighborhood too, probably in the same kindergarten class too, probably. I would get in trouble in kindergarten. I can't believe how much trouble I could get into.
I can't
I'd
imagine.
go, I'd go into the bathroom and go to the bathroom and do my thing and wash my hands, and then I'd stay there and play in the water. I didn't know I couldn't do that until they yanked me out of there and said, get back to the classroom. Miss Miller. Miss Miller was a short, squatty, huge woman who was one of the main teachers. She could be mean even to a big girl like me. So anyway, but I did make, what do you call it? Paper mache ducks and different kind of flowers and all that kind of stuff. I think we all did. Every year we different kindergarten classes made the same things. It's what it was neat to remember. So
I remember the sandbox. We had a big, huge, probably 8 feet long and maybe
Yeah.
2 or 3 feet wide.
at your
And I used
school,
to love to play in the sandbox.
at your school, you had that?
Yeah, NIMS.
At NIM school. Okay, yeah. Well, Chris.
I was going to ask Sandy. Sandy and I we're newcomers to your life, obviously. So, Sandy, maybe unmute yourself. And where did you come from when you were a kid? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Ada, Michigan. And I loved the sandbox too. And I got dismissed from school because of a mud ball fight in the sandbox.
Oh,
I didn't know we weren't supposed to bring cups of water from the drinking fountain and pour it in the sandbox and then have a mud fight. But that's how I met my closest friend through grade school, because her dad and my dad came to the school to talk to the principal about the two of us as we sat in the principal's office and giggled. And then we got really scared, but we became friends from that day on. Yeah, I grew up in Ada, Michigan. Ada at that time was all farm country. It did not have Altacore, Amway. It was all farm country. You could go along the Thornapple River, and we'd always ride our bikes to the fields by the Thornapple River and swim in the Thornapple River. We had a rope that came down from a tree that was up on a, and we'd stand up on this clay bank and swing out over the river and drop in and dive in there, So we were really rowdy tomboys, is what we were. It was fun. It was great fun. And then I think 7th grade, Amway came in and it started to build all these rich people's homes. And it went from being just a bunch of farm kids who were all friends to rich kids who told us we didn't dress right, we didn't talk right, we didn't have our own cars, So it was a rude awakening. I went from a class leader to a nothing, because we weren't rich enough. But anyway, it was a really fun time in grade school. And then Cathy and I think, she and I just had the same crazy sense of humor, but I met her in was it 1970?
I think
Cathy?
so. I think so.
And when
Yeah, I went
did
to
you
work.
meet her?
I went to work there 69 and worked there 4 years. So
Yeah, so we met in 1970. When did you meet her, Chris?
1980-ish, early 80s.
Okay, so it's still a lot of years we all have with her.
You got 10 years on me, so.
And Cynthia, where are you living now?
I'm living outside of Boston.
Did I meet you at her wedding?
No.
No, I meant you, Chris.
I
Right?
was wedding, yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't meet Cynthia.
nope. Our invitation list didn't go out that far, and that was a time when Cynthia and I weren't necessarily connecting
Nope.
very much. It was nice to start doing it again later.
When did we start connecting actually because of the house? Because Norma Jean told me you had this house. We drove by your house one night and you and Gary were sitting in it. And she stopped the car, and that's when I met Gary. I found, but it is, yeah. This was a while ago. And I don't even know if you were
No,
renting yet. Didn't you live there for a while? Did you
No,
guys, you didn't live there. Okay. Well,
no,
you were sitting there fixing it up. You're doing something with it.
yes.
And it was late in the evening and she said, oh, let's drive by. I said, okay. So she's driving. And then we went in and talked to you. I don't remember connecting
Thanks, Faye.
much before that. We had a long hiatus of non-connection.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it even happened in high school, really. I mean, you were in Norton Shores, we were in Muskegon, and we didn't do much. You weren't part of the gang that we'd go get to go
No.
ride the circuit down Muskegon on Western Avenue. And you know, it's sort of people. I think Sue did. Because Sue had some slumber parties at her house too.
Yeah.
So that kind of tied her in a little bit more, I think.
Yeah. Interesting.
So yeah, we didn't later, for sure. Not junior or senior. I don't think we hung out much together at all. In fact,
Yeah.
I got to hear about that your parents allowed you to paint your bedroom black and dark green. Is that true?
An orange.
Orange.
I can't believe my mom let me do that.
Look. Huh? What?
That was after high school. Yeah.
Was that after high school?
Yeah, because I went to Muskegon. My grades were not good in high school except the subject I cared about, and which was French and English and music, and everything else was sort of crappy. And so the U of M guy told me that the head of the piano department said, go to a community college and raise your grade point and come the next year. And basically I said, sure. And then, I did that, but I didn't ever go back to U of M. And then I came out to the East Coast. I know how. I was up in Interlaken and I met a really nice family at Interlaken. And they said, honey, you belong in the East Coast. I said, okay. So I went out and stayed with them for a while. I was like a nanny for a while with them. And then I got up to Connecticut and then I got to Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And then I married a Midwesterner, which is really funny.
Do you want to tell it?
Well, Larry's from outside of Chicago, so he's not the same kind of Midwesterner that I was. But it's really different, actually. It's like saying I'm from the Midwest, and then you meet somebody from someplace in Missouri. That's really not the same either, Michigan and Missouri. But yeah, we met in New York and got married, had twins.
Wow.
I got pictures of that. The pictures. So I remember we had a picnic out at Pierre Marquette across the street from where my parents' house was. And you were there with your twins, and your dad came by to help shuffle you back to his place. So we were connected then. Shirley was there. Norma Jean was there. Betty was there with her 2 daughters or 1 daughter. I was there. I've got pictures of that too. I think you maybe have seen them. I think I gave you I copied the pictures for you. So you
I'm remembering this. How'd they get together? Did you do that?
I just asked people, let's get together, let's do our thing. And so people spread the word that we're going to do it. And everybody brought something to share. And yeah, it was neat to have that. And would have been nice if we'd have had it again and again. But again, those things, you can't repeat those things sometimes. So
Right.
It was neat. Yeah. So I think that's a connection that we started having again. And then of course, Cynthia's been one of our main renters at the house out there now. That was my mother and father's house.
Oh,
That we
really?
rent out. And so she comes every summer when she can. The COVID interfered, I think, year before last. And then we managed to come again this last one. So Cynthia loves the house.
Oh, the house. And it's so clean. You can eat off the floor.
Can you imagine that?
The floor is cleaner than my dishes.
Well, I'm not so sure about that, Cynthia.
And if you need anything in the house, you think, oh, I wonder if they have a blah blah. And then you look and eventually you find the blah blah because it has everything there. But it's also, it's like spitting distance from the lake. It's so wonderful.
Yeah. I got to stay there a few days last summer, actually 2 parts of 1 week. And oh my God, it's just so beautiful. And sometimes when I feel all frazzled, I just kind of go back and I picture myself sitting in, I turned the chair sideways so I could see the park and know the lake was right there. And I could just feel the history and the love. And then when Gary and Cathy came and pointed out things, and Gary took me on a wild Mr. Toad's Wild Ride in his car. He took us up on the other side of the water, up the lake a little bit, you know, but he drives so fast. It's like, you know, trying to see the sights. But it was lovely. And I was, yeah, it was just really, really lovely to be there and to feel the history and yeah, and to know that
It's
that
beautiful. Yeah.
yeah,
I have
house
a
is,
so I have a video of the bush in the front of the house with at one point there's 7 butterflies
wow.
on the bush.
Wow.
I just send you that video. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
If I need to have a mosquito hit, that's what I look at on my camera. Yeah.
My mother does my mother's favorite bush, and we always thought it was just a butterfly bush, but it's a Vitek bush that is usually in the South. They don't usually survive and grow up in Michigan, but somehow my mother got it started, and it has flourished ever since then. And we had some people who were from the South come by. They were walking through the neighborhood in the summer one time, and when probably a weekend when we were cleaning or whatever, and they came by and they said, we have never ever seen such a beauty. It was one of those years where it was just full, you know, and probably 10 feet across and 6 feet, 7 feet high, something like that. And it was just beautiful, and lots of butterflies also. And I said, yeah, that's my mother's favorite. That was my mother's favorite butterfly bush. And she said, this is not a butterfly bush. This is a Vitek bush. And she said, lots of people have them in the South because butterfly bushes don't do as well in the South. So they use this one instead, you know, so it's still there, and we just got to remember to cut it down enough so it'll flourish more the next year every time we come around. So I'm glad that you appreciate that bush so much, Cynthia.
Yeah. And if any of you folks have pictures of that beautiful house, I told Cathy I'm going to make her a guest book after the first of the year. Oops, here we are. Anyway, sometime this year, before summer. So if anybody has any memories or photos or anything that we could put into this guest book, I kind of picture it, the first pages will be history, story, the love story, whatever, and then lots of line pages back for people to write in. So if anybody has any stories, send them to Cathy and she'll get them to me.
Yep, that'd be great. Well, and of course, my parents had that house built in the it's between 70 and 71. And there used to be a cottage on that lot. There was a dumpy old cottage that my folks bought probably in the late 50s. And we went up there a lot as kids. And our family was there a lot, even though it was just you crash and it's, you know, you don't have to worry about anything, and it's all wood. And, but there's also another roof outside there where if you're there in the summertime, you could go out on the roof outside of one of the upstairs bedrooms and lay out on the roof. There were many times when girlfriends would go with me on the bus down to the lake. Mom gave me the keys to the house, and we stayed there and did whatever we wanted to do and go down to the lake or go to the pier or whatever, and just stay at that house for the day, and then pack up and get on the next bus that would take us back home or whatever. And so I know that Betty was a part of that. I'm not sure who all else. I have to people try and remember that themselves, but that was a neat place. And my parents rented it in the wintertime because there was no we weren't going to be using it in the wintertime. And one time the last time they rented it out, somebody left the house and left the pipes got all frozen. Then they came back after they'd been gone, and they got the torches out to try and melt down the ice that's in the pipes or whatever. And after they did half of their job, they set the stuff down on the floor and left. And the thing that was trying to melt the ice or whatever caught fire onto something else, and the whole thing burned down before the police or the fire department could even get there to save it, because it was an old place and old wood. And so eventually, that was probably in 68, I'm thinking, because then Mom and Dad started looking for house plans that they could put on that skinny little lot up there. And so they found one, and that was a pre-cut house. And so they picked out what they wanted. The people came, and everything came, and it was all cut just right. They put it all together, put the basement in and all that kind of stuff. So wow, they created that. So they didn't have that house until after all of us kids were gone. We just had the cottage to go to. And My brother, I think Dan, my younger brother, went out and lived there for a while with them, and eventually went back out on his own. And I think he's the only one that actually lived there with the folks. So my folks had it, and I could not see after both of them had passed away, and Dad passed away last. It was in 2010 in January, and I told my siblings, I said, Mom and Dad would not want this house to go to anybody. It needed to stay in the family, because they're the ones who put it there, and it's most important. And so I'm the one who stepped up the most to want to inherit it instead of investments that my folks had put away. And Gary agreed. Gary and I were together at that time, so we agreed. He didn't think we were ever going to be able to make any money on it. He never heard of renting something out to make money on it. But we said that we had to rent it out just to keep up with the insurance and all the expenses that come with having that house. And it has worked out fine to, support itself over the last 10 years. So our daughters, Gary's daughters, I call them our daughters, but Gary's daughters came out. I asked them if they'd help redecorate the house and make it nicer or whatever. And so they pitched right in, and I said, so we're just going to try and make this a little more, a little bit better or something. And Kim, the youngest one, said, no, we're taking it out of the old age category and putting it into a nowadays house.
Right.
And mainly that was just because my folks had old furniture there and lots of books and lots of everything else all stacked up all over the place and stuff. So it did change quite a bit, and it looks pretty good. I bought furniture from my cousin who had a cottage down on the channel, and they were getting ready to get rid of all the furniture there and bring their furniture from their house that they lived in, because they didn't live in this place. And so I said, well, I'm willing to buy your furniture from you. It's really nice and it will work well. And so we bought it and got it in there, and it looked really great. So the girls did a great job getting rid of stuff. I had all this stuff spread out that were things, ornaments and other kinds of things that my folks had or whatever. And I said, so I'd like to keep some of these things in the house or whatever. And so they'd pick one or two things and said, we can see this in the house, but not any of that other stuff. So it really became a different look after they worked with us on it. So I was very appreciative of what they did. It was great.
Good.
That's
You
because
all-
they got to eat
Yeah.
their oatmeal.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Did you hear that? Gary's trying to catch part of this situation. Don't let that hinder you at all.
When I grew up there, I never thought twice about how beautiful that big lake is,
Oh,
or
yeah.
Bear Lake, or Muskegon Lake.
Oh, yeah.
And now that I am old, I mean, what a privilege that was.
Mhm.
And when we first moved to Topeka, they said, well, we have Lake Shawnee. So we went out to Lake Shawnee, and it's a pond. And they have a lot of drownings here, but it's all farmland that's been put into reservoirs. So when you put your feet in, you've lost your toes when you're at your ankles. And so when I hear you talk about being down there in the channel and
Mhm.
how fortunate I was to grow up there.
Yeah. And the location of this house is pretty amazing. I think when my dad found that on sale, he did real estate part-time, and when he found that particular property, I don't think my mom and dad even argued about whether he should be spending the money like that, because I think mom knew how much dad loved Lake Michigan. He grew up part of his years in Muskegon and certainly spent a great deal of time on the lake, down at the beach and all that kind of stuff. And we did as kids too. Mom would take us down, dad would take us down to the beach 5 miles away. And so when having that cottage was a streak of good luck. And even though it's really interesting that Beach Street is the main street on the front road, and then you turn the corner and then my folks' property is there. And when they put that house in, it should have become Rogers, which is a cross street, should have become a Rogers address. My dad said, no, it's going to keep its Beach Street address because thinking like a realtor, you know, and people aren't knowing of it or whatever, but all of a sudden they see the address and it's like, well, this is right on Beach Street. You know, it's great. You can get out and walk to so many different things. I remember walking with my parents when they were in wheelchairs and that type of thing, and going over and going down the channel and, you know, stopping and letting them walk if they wanted to for a bit, but otherwise we just keep going with his wheelchair or her wheelchair and spend time down there, even when they couldn't do all the things they'd done all their life down there. So
Right.
it's a good place.
How
It's a
long
good
has
place.
that entertainment center been there? You know, where we went out to eat that last night?
Oh, that outside entertainment center just got built there probably since the COVID. They were
really?
expanding their outside stuff, and Cynthia's nodding her head, so she knows about this too and been there. And I'm not sure what your motions mean there, Cynthia.
I hate it.
that
Oh,
they
you
that
did?
they built all that. So they built all this outside seating to accommodate people at the restaurant,
Oh, I
and
know, it was
then
gorgeous.
put music in, and louder music than what they've had in the past sometimes. But I think that has settled down a little bit. I think they have to cut it off at a certain time at night, so it's not bothersome to the neighborhood so much. But
Is that where,
yeah, it's what, Jude?
is that where Cascarelli's was?
Well, sort of. It's in the vicinity. But Coscarelli's was on the other side of the circle, the oval, and it was a smaller, I guess, a concession stand as well as a little store, I think. And that's what I remember about it anyway. Maybe you remember more than that from there. But that's been torn down for decades. I think that's been gone a long, long time. But it was there when we were there as kids. Ice cream cones and popcorn.
Yep. So if you, like, to your renters that you have, I heard that they charge now for.
They charge for parking down at the beach. Yes,
Yeah,
Oh, parking.
for
you
parking.
hardly need to park. I'm going to share a screen and see if you guys can see this.
Oh, she's been busy. Oh,
So that was just last August when I was there in August. And this is out in front. And I imagine is the butterfly bush somewhere behind Gary there?
Yep,
More behind.
probably right behind Gary. And yeah, the
Behind
pine
Gary.
tree is the pine tree is a pine tree I gave my mother when she didn't want any more indoor Christmas trees. And
Oh,
so I bought her a 3-foot pine tree and
Yeah.
stuck it in the front yard so she could see it from the place she sits in the living room. And
yeah.
so
This-
now that's up in the wires now. So
Oh, yeah. This looks like the butterfly attractor flower.
I think, oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
That's
there
great.
we are at that restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think I have a picture. Oops, some aren't so good. Oops. Yeah, and there it looks out over the lake as it was sunsetting.
Yeah.
It was just that whole, everything they have out there. You're saying that's all new?
Yes.
Yes.
They
Really?
just had the big building, and the big building used to be a brick pavilion when we were kids, where there were places where you can go change your clothes and take a shower or whatever in the basement part of it. And it was just
Right,
cement and bricks, and they
right.
built around that.
But they
um,
did, and this was, I want to say there in August, but it wasn't very crowded. I guess it was really windy when we were
The old
there.
pavilion building. This is
Yeah,
like-
look at, and the music was going on down, you can kind of see the back of the stage. Yeah, just magnificent. And so Cathy, you kind of grew up, all of you girls kind of grew up right there with that beautiful, to me, it's like the ocean, you know, because I'm in the ocean or near the ocean.
Oh, you got some nice pictures, Chris.
Yeah, those were great. Okay, let me stop sharing. I just remembered them, so I was able to go find them.
When I grew up, we went to the ovals. We had to drive, and we would go to the ovals sort of occasionally. But my parents built a house in Norton Shores after we were in Glenside Gardens when we first moved there, and there were no other. There were about 5 houses on the block. Do you remember this, Cathy? They're like
Yeah, I do.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the road was paved, but just barely. And there was a hill at the end of the road. And if you walked up the sort of quasi sand dune, but it had trees and stuff, then you walk, there was a trail that walked to Lake Michigan. So I grew up in Lake Michigan in literally a deserted beach.
Wow.
Nobody
yeah.
was ever there. And it was just, I can't even describe how much of a paradise it was.
Oh,
So we would go to the beach, we go down, we drive to the Ovals, or we go to the, we'd go to North Muskegon and Bear Lake and stuff like that. Or sometimes
Yeah.
White, we would do
Yep.
that. But this place, it was just unbelievable. And it still is pretty. There are a few people there now, but there was literally no one. I mean, I kept turning around. All I saw was trees and a sand dune on one start, and then the lake on the other. You know, when I was a teenager, it kind of saved my life.
oh.
I have to
my
step
God.
outside for a moment, so you guys keep talking. It all of a sudden started to rain on stuff. Go figure.
Okay.
Keep talking. I'll be back.
Got laundry out there.
Chris has a wonderful yard. There's so many plants, and just for being in California, and they've got a lot of huge trees near their yard or in their yard and stuff. And then they have different houses, different structures and buildings. That's their property, and they rent out some of those. And yeah, Chris and her husband Bill do that. It's fascinating too. So now I remember, Cynthia, coming on bike rides out to your house. We didn't do them often to come all the way out there, but once in a while we'd get our bikes. Norma sometimes would join us. It was Betty and me and probably 3 other people, maybe 2 or 3 other people or whatever. We'd ride our bikes all the way through Muskegon Heights, into the Norton Shores area and down Lake Harbor Drive to Cynthia's house. And we'd meet up with her, and then at least one occasion she would join us, and then we'd go on and bike farther to Maranatha, which was a
Oh, wow.
Christian conference center, and had cabins up in the dunes that you could. My sister even rented one of those with the Parr sisters for the summer. One time they rented one of those little tiny places that just had bunks in it, and that's about all. I think they may have worked at Maranatha or something, and then they stayed there. So we did a lot of that kind of stuff too, is the bike riding that we managed to do. So.
Yeah. Do you remember the tree? Do you remember the swing that was Whitey's? That was like a. Do you remember Whitey? Remember that name? That he owned property there?
Sounds familiar, but
yeah, this guy owned this incredible property, and there was a swing. Which the last summer I was there, I always drive around there, and somebody told me that that's not there anymore. But I thought he had bought it up so that nobody could actually build there. But I didn't tell you this, Kathy. I went back to the house where I grew up, and I went back to 1852. And I just was looking, and I had my car stopped, and there was a guy out there fixing his car, probably, younger than my children, which means like, mid-30s. And I decided to say something. And I said, I used to live in this house. And he was so friendly. I gotta find this card. I know where it is. And he said, it was such a nice connection. He's got a little kid. And he said, well, I think that this house was built. And I said, yeah, I know my parents built it. And he said, well, no, that can't be right. And I said, excuse me. Yeah, it's right, because they built it and we moved into it, and there were knot holes and everything in the house, that I remember knocking out. But he was the sweetest guy, and he's starting a book about that house.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, bizarre. I was not that old. It's that old. Well, I guess it's really old. Anyway. I'll let you know. I told him I'd send him a Christmas card, and I didn't. So I got to send him a late Christmas card.
Yeah.
He was really nice. He said, oh, please stay in touch. Please. He said, I got to get this done now because my son has to. It was just a really sweet guy. So that was fun.
It'd be interesting to see. He needs to have your stories about that house.
I told
in
him
his book. Yeah.
He was fascinated. He's putting some stuff down. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially
So
the
Cathy-
orange and green room.
So Kathy, dearest, I'm going to try to sign out because I have a long drive and the temperature's dropping with the rain.
Yeah, and it's raining here too. But Bill just wanted to say happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Hi, Bill. Thank you very much.
You're
Appreciate doing this.
Yeah.
So she has to go, but anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it just started raining here, and I had checked, and we moved a whole bunch of my craft things out to the patio, and then it started raining on it. So Okay,
Had to
so
move. That's fine, that's
we
fine.
just-
Sandy, you have more to say before you leave?
I
She
think she
left.
And Kathy, I actually have to go because I gotta,
okay, well, help, we have to all
I know,
go
I'm
out.
not even keeping, I don't keep track of time at all, so
Okay,
I'm
well, we
terrible.
need to have Kathy blow out her birthday candle, so let's all help her together. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good.
Well, and
Oh, there goes-
here is another, that's flowers from Gary. And here
Nice.
Oh, how
is
pretty.
Wow.
Oh,
birthday cake from Reiki's that I picked up last week when I was there. And they
Wow.
decorated it for me. And I put it in the freezer, so it'd still be good today.
oh, where's the champagne?
And she better give me some before I leave. No.
No, I'm not cutting it now. We got another big Zoom party tonight
Oh,
with all
shows
the
you
kids.
how she rates me.
You'll have to come back.
So-
I'll freeze a piece for you.
So I want to tell Cynthia and Chris, when you come to Kathy's little cottage, I want to come see you and meet you.
Let's do it.
It's really
That would be
really
great.
fun
That would
talking
be
to you.
fun. Yeah.
That would
And
be
it's
great.
Judy, the other person, right?
Yep, Judy. Yep.
And I think I've met you several times, so I'll see you again sometime.
All righty.
Okay.
Take care.
So
Safe driving.
we all say goodbye. Everybody has to get going and stuff. So happy birthday, Kathy.
Thank you for this. This has been wonderful. I really
Happy
appreciate it.
birthday.
Keep going, kiddo.
All
Yes.
right.
Let's see, 25 more years, right? Then I have four
That'll be big.
centuries.
Well,
The
25
year
Quarter
of
century.
Jubilee,
You 25 more
What's
years.
that?
the year of
25
Jubilee.
Jubilee, yeah.
Yeah.
75 is Jubilee year?
Yep,
Is that what you're saying, Judy?
yes.
Thank you all.
So-
And you,
All right.
It was
you're
really
the frosting
good.
on top of my birthday celebration. I do appreciate it very much.
Bye, honey.
And now we know we can do Zooming,
Yeah.
right? We don't have to
Right.
wait till a year when Cynthia comes back or when Judy comes
Right.
back or whatever. We can see each other more
Oh,
often in these years.
Absolutely.
And everybody say a special prayer for Marilyn and Karen. I know this is going to be a rough time for them right now. I'm not sure where things stand. I haven't talked to Marilyn, but just read her posting that she said. And so she really wished she could be here, but she needs to be somewhere else. And that's
Right.
perfectly fine. Yep. And same with Norma. And same with Betty. I'm not sure where we lost her, but maybe we'll get her on next time.
Yeah.
So-
Have fun with your family tonight.
I sure will.
Yeah. You're an old pro.
Thank
at
you
it.
very much.
Eat cake.
Remember,
Eat cake.
we're gonna get a video and
Oh, that's right. I have to do that soon as we
share it.
All right.
A better
Great
treasure than
experience.
good
Goodbye, all.
friends.
Love you very
Thank you,
much.
Chris.
Thank
All
you.
right. See
Thank
y'all.
Judy for thank Jim for us for getting you on at the last minute. I do appreciate that very much. And
Okay.
next time you can do it. Maybe. I'm not sure I'm gonna. Okay, love you.
I'm gonna
Bye.
push the
Have a
button
great
now.
rest of the day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.